Welcome back to the channel. You're watching Theory Hammer. I am Kevbot, and we're going over all the new detachments that we've got so far. In this video, we're going to go over the Flyblown host for the Death Guard. I got it right that time. We've been making different videos for each one of these. I know I'm a little bit behind on making these, but that's okay, because I said so. So, I'm going to be going over the Flyblown hosts, and hopefully it's something cool, but we're going to just go over it and see what we got. So if you like the videos, Thunderhammer all the buttons, leave a comment, check out our other videos, check out the other channel, and let's just get into this. Our detachment rule, Venomous Haze. Death Guard infantry units from your army that are not embarked within a transport have scout 5 inches and stealth. Okay, so our entire army can scout up 5 inches now. I don't recall if Death Guard have an infiltrators unit, because you're going to need those if you have a bunch of scouting stuff. But if you don't, you can just take some Nurglings. Those have infiltrate, and you can kind of bubble out your opponent's infiltrators so that they can't stop you from scouting. Having stealth, your army is -1 to hit at range, so that's pretty good. Now, is this better than the original detachment that has now been updated? And now being the wrong word, it's been updated a while ago, where you can choose those different abilities, so -1 weapon skill, ballistic skill, -1 of the armor save, and some other thing. We'll have to find out. Let's go over the enhancements real quick. We have Droning Chorus for 15 points. Death Guard infantry model only, ranged weapons have assault in the bearer's unit. So this means you can be advancing and you can be shooting. Not bad. For 15 points, that's probably worth it. That's like 1.5 points per guy if you're taking it on a 10-man unit. So it's not bad. Not being able to charge afterward obviously is going to be the main problem with advancing. But because the Death Guard don't have a whole lot of crazy shooting stuff, this is generally going to be going on a unit of Plague Marines, and it's going to give all their Flamers assault, it's going to give all their Bolters assault, so it's not bad to have. We then have our Insectile Murmurations for 20 points. This is on Death Guard infantry model only. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is within contagion range of one or more of your Death Guard units from your army, you can reroll a wound roll of 1. So, each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack that targets a unit within contagion range. I don't love this. Rerolling 1s to wound is great. But you just don't have a whole lot of like really high strength weapons that benefit very much from rerolling 1s to wound. If it was full rerolls to wound, that would be a different story. But for reroll 1s to wound only on your unit and only if they're in contagion range of one or more of your other units. It's a lot of restrictions there. 1 being that it only affects his unit, 2 being that they have to be in contagion range. So, and all you get is reroll 1s. I don't love this, especially for 20 points. I don't think that this is very good. Our next one is the Rejuvenating Swarm for 10 points. Death Guard infantry model only. These are all on Death Guard infantry models. At the end of each phase, the bearer regains all of its lost wounds. I'm trying to think of what this would be good on. I mean, it doesn't seem good. Like, getting through a Death Guard character that isn't Mortarion isn't difficult. And so you're probably just going to kill him anyway. And so I don't like this at all, actually. Let me know if I'm missing something there. Is there like a lone op or something? Or I guess like something that has Feel No Pain? I can't think of anything, because you can't put this on Typhus. So, yeah, I just don't think that this is really all that great. So moving on to the last one, we have Plague Veil, 25 points. Infantry model only while the bearer's unit is within range of 1 or more objective markers that you control. That unit can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches. This isn't bad, especially when you have other stuff that's moving up the table and wants to get close, to get their flamers in range, to get just grenades in range. You have the Death Shroud Terminators. They also want to get close because they want to get into combat. So this is probably actually not super bad at all. Even for 25 points, when you can just stick a 10-man unit of Plague Marines on an objective and just be like, hey, you got to get within 18 inches to shoot this unit, that's going to put you in threat range of other stuff in their army. So that's pretty good. And I think that's probably the best one here. Rerolling wounds of 1, really just not tickling my fancy so much. This is probably completely useless, but this is pretty good. I like this a lot. All right, let's go on to our stratagems. First one, Nauseating Paroxysm. That's 1 CP. This happens at the start of the fight phase. You target a Death Guard infantry unit from your army that is within engagement range of one or more enemy units. Select one enemy unit within engagement range of your unit. That unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. It's okay. The fact that it's a -1 to the test, that's not bad. But when you're going after things that are Leadership 6, which is going to be Chaos and regular Space Marines, it's just not all that impactful, and it'll come in handy if you really need them to not use a specific stratagem on the unit that they're fighting. So like Armor of Contempt, or precisioning out your characters, maybe like a fights on death type stratagem, things like that. So it's really only useful for preventing things to get stratagems, basically. So it's okay, but I don't love that. We have Vermin Cloud next. This is in the fight phase as well, so either player's fight phase. Same with this guy. And this is not the start of the fight phase. This is any time during the fight phase, so that might become relevant. One Death Guard infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase is going to be your target, and then until the end of the phase, each time a model in this unit makes a pile-in or consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. This can be very, very useful sometimes. This can make it so that you can move 6 inches towards an objective, or 6 inches toward a unit. When you get into combat with something and your opponent keeps them just over 4 inches away after you pile in, you can't normally pile into that unit. You're kind of stuck out in the open, and you're just going to get shot and die. This, however, makes it so that you can move twice as far and get into combat with things that your opponent wasn't expecting you to get into combat with. This can really trip people up, I think, and I actually really like stratagems that let you do this. So, pretty good for 1 CP. Next, we have Eye of the Swarm. This is in your shooting phase, 1 CP. One Death Guard infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit, excluding blast weapons, have the pistol ability. So if you do find yourself in combat with a unit after your opponent takes their movement phase, and then you don't die in combat as well, so, if you're still in combat in your turn, on your shooting phase, you can give all your stuff pistol, which will apply to, like, your flamers and stuff as well. So, not bad. Not great. We then have Droning Horror, 1 CP, in the shooting phase, your shooting phase specifically. You target a Death Guard infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes a range attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. If the attack targets a unit within half range, you can reroll the hit instead. Okay, so Death Guard don't have, especially Death Guard infantry, they don't have a whole lot of things that are like really, really strong shooting attacks. Their flamers are very strong. But other than that, they don't have a whole lot of stuff that really wants to have this on it. So, I don't love it, and we're just going to move on. Enervating Onslaught is going to be the next one for 1 CP. This is in your charge phase. Just after a Death Guard infantry unit from your army makes a charge move, you target that unit. Select an enemy unit within engagement range of your unit, excluding monsters and vehicles, and roll a d6 for each model in your unit that is within engagement range of the enemy unit. So you have to get as many models as possible into range in order for this to be as effective as it can be. What this does is you add 1 to the result if it's not a cultist or poxwalker unit, and then for each 5+, so basically on each 4+, the selected enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound to a maximum of 6. So if you charge in with 10, Terminators or 10 Plague Marines, if you get them all within engagement range, then they will roll dice for each model, and on a 4-up in this case, or a 5-up if it's just a cultist unit, you do some mortal wounds to stuff. So this could be a pretty good stratagem, especially because this happens in the charge phase. This does not happen in the fight phase. So you charge in, you do 6 mortal wounds to something, probably 5 on average, because that's what math says. You wipe a unit out of the way, you pile into something that you care about, and you attack the thing that you care about. So pretty good, actually, to just kind of clear things out of the way to get you into combat with the thing that you actually care about. So I do like this one. Our last one is Myphitic Invigoration. It's 1 CP. This happens in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit selects its targets. You target a Death Guard infantry unit from your army that is within 6 inches of 1 or more friendly Myphitic Blight Hauler units, and that was selected as the target of those attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, if the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than the toughness, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So you're going to want to use this on Terminators, obviously, because they're much more difficult to kill than Plague Marines are. But you also have to take a Myphitic Blight Hauler unit in order for this to work. They're not an amazing unit, they're not bad, so you might take them. You just don't see them very often. So yeah, this is okay. I don't hate it. Being -1 to wound is really good, because those things are toughness 6. And I just know from playing Votann, toughness 6 infantry that are -1 to wound are pretty hard to kill. And these guys will have an extra wound because they're Terminators, like real Terminators. So, overall, I think, here's my assessment. The Strategems are better than just the regular Death Guard detachment. They are better. The Enhancements are not. So I just got like a little notification on my computer, so just wanted to cut that out. I don't think that this is as good as I forget what is it, Plague Host or something? The original detachment for Death Guard, I think just, its detachment rule is so strong because it gives you sticky objectives, or maybe that's just part of their army rule, but the contagion range thing, where you can make stuff -1 to their armor save, or you can make stuff -1 weapon skill and ballistic skill, that just goes a long way. And if we're kind of comparing the two things, if you took the original detachment and you made it so that anytime people are within contagion range, Jesus Christ, anytime they're in containment, anytime they're in contagion range, you can already make them -1 to hit. So it's not exactly the same. Like, that only works if they're in contagion range, which you can get things into contagion range pretty easily. Like, you can take cultists, you can scout them up, you can charge at something. You know, there's ways to put things into contagion range, and that contagion range just gets bigger and bigger. And if you take Mortarion, you can make it bigger as well. So having stealth here it's kind of like whatever, because this only, stealth is only in the shooting phase. Whereas if you take the original detachment, it's all the time. It's just -1 weapon skill, -1 ballistic skill. So it's not exactly the same thing, but the original detachment can affect more stuff because it can affect you in combat as well. So in my mind, what this is really giving you is Scout 5 inches, and I don't think that's worth it. Despite the fact that your stratagems are better, I just don't think it's worth it compared to the original detachment. I think that has a lot more power, especially when you're taking like Terminators and stuff that are already hard to kill. You get them into contagion range. Now everything's like +1 AP practically, or -1 to hit you anyway. So overall, pretty cool. But I don't think it's like the most amazing detachment that we've seen so far. But that's what we got, and that's going to do it for this video. So if you guys liked it, thunderhammer the like and subscribe button, hit Nurgle's bell, leave a comment, check out the other videos, and then check out the second channel as well, where I swear a lot and I play video games and get very angry. So it's funny. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Theory hard, and I'll see you back at the lab.